Hey, what's up? Well, it's actually 8 o'clock p.m. and I guess I wanted to do an intro for you because I forgot to do one earlier this morning. So in this video, my oldest daughter had a field trip to Jamestown, Virginia, and yeah, you get to see a little bit about the Native Americans and you know, stuff like that. So it was fun. I had a good time. So without further ado, I'll let you guys jump right into it.
Worried about, okay? That Virginia company had a charter from the King of England, okay? But he didn't have a charter from the King of Spain, and Spain claimed all of this land, okay? So what they built the fort for was not to protect themselves from the Indians, but protect themselves from the Spanish. And built a new life. This was a business. You guys came, but you expected to go right back to England as soon as you got your pockets full of gold and silver. Okay? That you did because you were Christopher Newport, but nobody else did. Our Indians didn't have any gold and silver. So let's come on into the church.
On into the church. No, you don't.
So it's similar, all right? Now, I want to cover a lot of history really quickly. We're going to look at a date like 1612 or so, and we think the wedding of some lady took place in here. Her name was Rebecca. You know what her other name was? Anybody have any idea what her other name was? She had two other names. One of them was Matoka. What's the other name? Pocahontas, yeah! By now she's been kidnapped by the British and brought here, and she's learned English. She's baptized Rebecca, and she marries John. Come on! John Ralph. Smith was an old guy like me, and he had burned a hole in his leg, and he'd gone back to England. So the Hollywood movies are not too accurate. So she married John Ralph. But for you, I'm treating you like middle schoolers already. The convection oven, because the heat goes all the way around, guess what? 400 years ago, he had a convection oven because of the dome shape of his oven. The top of the bread would not get cooked before the bottom of the bread. You just put the lid on and bake, okay? So sometimes technology from a long time ago is still working today.
How are y'all today? Welcome. Unfortunately, I can't give you any free samples. This is mainly for demonstration and display. It's called a Devonshire oven. And right now, we're preheating our oven. Do you guys preheat your ovens at home? No. Yes. Well, you better. Before you bake, you need to preheat your oven. And how can I tell when my oven is ready for baking? Put your hand in it. They're using a lot of their senses 400 years ago, more than we use today.
It gets hot.
It gets hot, and they know that by sense of touch. They feel. Now, how can I tell this oven's ready? I call it 1, 2, 3, 4, ouch. The bread would be kneaded. Take all that hot coal out, and as the bread is rising, I'm heating my oven. When the oven's hot enough, I'll take all the coals out, I'll wet mop the inside of the oven, and then I'll put my prepared dough into the oven to bake. The whole process takes about an hour and a half, but to actually bake the bread, 30 minutes. In 20 minutes, you start to smell bread, and that's an indication that the bread is almost done. Yes, sir?
Are you going to eat that?
Yes. Moisture, right, it dries the meat out, therefore preserving it by means of dry curing your meat, and that's salted pork. Do you think the settlers are growing any of their own foods here in Virginia?
No.
Certainly, they're starting to grow wheat and native grain, and what do we call that? Corn. The English detested corn. They didn't believe the human body was meant to digest it. So they're growing corn, beans, and squash. What are the men drinking here in Virginia? Well, they drank small beer initially. It was shipped over in casks. But it was a safe alternative to water. And as Europeans, if you guys lived 400 years ago, chances are you've been drinking this stuff about 8 or 9 years now. I take it you guys are about 10, 11?
Yeah, 10.
Okay, so you've been drinking this most of your life. You're accustomed to small beer. When we run out of small beer, we will resort to drinking from the wells. And what kind of water is coming out of the well? Salt water, brackish water, very dirty water. And what will this lead to? Illness, disease, death. Yes. Any questions or curiosities? Yes, ma'am.
It's very important. And he came in the fort and looked around and said, ugh, what a dump. Well, he didn't say that. He just said, I'm not going to live there. And he didn't. He lived on the ship. But he demanded that a proper house be made for the governor. Now, he went back to England. He never saw it. But they completed the structure. And we didn't know what it. We knew the structure was there. The archaeologists had found this big building. But until about 3 years ago, they found the remnants down there. Okay? And then we're going to walk through the and get down to see the musket fire. Just walk.
And they're going to put a little bit of a powder in there. Now, in modern times, it's safer for me to use this. So pretend I'm using the things on my bandolier, all right? So they're going to pour a little bit of powder into the pan there, shake it off, close the pan. The next step in the process is going to be to take one of their chargers off their bandolier, pop the lid off, pour that down the barrel, followed by the musket ball. And then they're going to take their scouring stick and they're going to push the musket ball and the powder all the way down to the bottom of the gun there. I'm going to put this back. Is it ready to go yet? No, I still got to put my match on, right? Now, for those of you guys that saw me earlier have my little I don't know if I call it a misfire, but it didn't go off when I wanted it to. It's because you have to place the match just right in the serpentine. This piece right here is called the serpentine, and this is the part that moves. So when you're ready to fire, you put the match in the serpentine, you open the pan, that gunpowder sitting nice on top of it there, and then when you lower the trigger, you pull the trigger or the sear bar, you see what it's doing? It's going to move this match into the open thing of gunpowder. Hopefully it'll go boom. If it doesn't, that means you probably didn't set it right. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to fire it again. So if you guys would, I would cover your ears. It's kind of loud.
To impress you a little bit, I'm doing some science and technology here. The shape of their houses, like an egg shape, is very sturdy. It could stand the big hurricane winds. If they built it straight up, it would get blown over, okay? It also tells you that their food was close by because their houses don't move. What did the Plains Indians have for houses? And what is their primary food? And the buffalo are moving, and they needed to move too. But girls, you have a whole football field of corn, beans, and squash, and you're not going to move, are you? You've worked hard to put it in there, okay? So let's come on.
Not yummy. I want yummy now.
Are you hungry now?
Yeah.
Prepare yourself, dead animals ahead.
They're very flexible when they're first set down.
Is that the only door?
Wet, and then the clay would harden around them like concrete. And then you bend them around and you go down to Ace Hardware and get some rope and tie it in place, right?
Yeah.
So what did they use for rope?
Like, they used, kind of like, they used this kind of straw material like they use for their houses, but different.
Well, different. Yeah, that's right. All of the villages that we know about are on rivers, and our rivers are tidal, meaning the tide goes up and down. So the same thing that grows down to Virginia Beach or Rehoboth Beach or Miami Beach, when you go up on the sand dune, it has lots of tall grass. So every village had access to lots and lots of tall grass. So you're going to be braiding it and twisting it and making it into rope, okay? Everybody makes rope. Now that rope can be made into nets like that back there, can be made into baskets like that one there, okay, depending on what you... Everybody has figured it out. That's how we're going to push this one and make it into...
I want to do it again. Crushed corn.
Until you were about 7 or 8, you didn't wear any clothes at all. You like that?
Yes.
It's snowing outside. You like that?
Yeah.
We would put some bear grease on you to keep you warm.
Yeah.
Now,
I already have that.
you've got to make a big old apron. Everybody's going to wear a big old apron, okay? And it's made out of this. What is it? Oh no, help me. What kind of an animal?
Oh, deer.
A deer.
A whitetail.
A white-tailed deer, the biggest animal that they had. They may have had a bear or two, but most of them were deer. Okay? So we're going to make this out of this. Now what are we going to do to it? Well, you're going to kill it first. That's a good idea. Here, you can pass this around and you can model it if you want. Okay?
I want to feel this flesh. We're wearing.
Okay. Anybody who hasn't had a chance, raise your hand. Okay, turn around and give the clamshells to people who haven't had a chance.
Raise your hand if you haven't had it.
And your lunch.
There, eating food and getting seasick because of what they call contrary winds. The wind was blowing this way and they needed it to go this way. Okay? Now, they knew how to go home. They could go home really quickly by going with the Gulf Stream and take them back that way and have the time. This was their route. Okay? Everybody made it safely save one fellow died of heat stroke down in the island. And they never, ever encountered any Spanish or any pirates. you an idea too. It was not unusual in those days to put pictures on maps. This picture was a copy of one that guy I talked about when we started, John White, the governor of the lost colony of Roanoke. And it shows us the sort of leather apron that the Indians wore, how tall and strong and well-muscled they were. They ran everywhere, and they ate good food. Okay? And this gives us a picture of the inside of Hagen. Now, he wasn't a famous artist, but he still captured some of the essence. You have a question? That's Jamestown right here. That's right. Well, they spelled it in Old English. When the Martians come, you're going to have to learn how to spell English differently than you spell it now. Question?
Why is town spelled weird?
Well, it's Old English. Okay.
It's just like shop.
Okay.
All right, so I hope you guys liked the video there, and yeah, I just made it home. Really pretty long bus ride. I think it's like 3 hours. So yeah, we had a good time, and you know, we liked it. So yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. A little bit of a learning thing there about the Native Americans and stuff. So I liked it. I enjoyed it. My daughter liked it. I tell you, I think the bus ride took more time than we actually spent at the grounds. So it is what it is. But anyway, I hope you guys liked the video. And if you're new, go ahead and subscribe if you like. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up. All right. See ya. Peace.